There you are. Hold on, I'm coming. Mr. Hopper.
What's up, Snoop?
Can't hear you. Hold on a second. I gotta turn it up.
Hold on.
Oh, now I can hear you.
Yeah.
I had my volume down, I think, because I had it cranked up earlier.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you well.
Okay, I can't hear you. Hold on. I got to figure out something here. Hold on a second.
Okay.
All right, can I hear you now?
Can you hear me now?
I can hear you now.
Sweet.
All
Okay.
right. So
this is what we're gonna do. I'm trying to do things a little bit differently these days because I'm really starting to, I want to test this out. So we're gonna go live on my business page and in my group.
Okay. All right.
Because I want to get max exposure for this stuff, right?
My question to you is, how does my audio sound? Because I am using this today.
Oh my, we're getting fancy.
Yes, we are.
All right, hold on a second.
It sounds good though?
Yeah, it sounds real good. All right, let's just real quick, let's see what we're gonna talk about. I'm gonna ask you, well, because this is gonna be on my business page, I'm gonna talk about, how we know each other. Okay, so how we met. We'll talk about Friday for just a second.
Okay.
And because I really do want to ask you, be like, so how'd I do? The video girl does her first live speaking event. How'd I do? Right? Give me a quick review.
I'm gonna say you sucked. You sucked up horribly.
Right.
Don't ever bring this chick into speak of your.
Right.
Oh,
so we'll do that. We'll talk about Friday, and then hopefully that'll be a really good way to kind of segue into it. And I can just be like, so I was super excited when you asked me to do this because I saw what you were doing and I was just like, I want to get in on that gig. So that's why we're here today, is because I have enough people now, part of my following, my members, my group, right? My network of people that are reaching out to me and going, hey, Trish, congratulations on getting your first speaking gig, but how'd you do that, right? How do I get into that? So that's how I'm going to kind of segue into it and say, that's why I have him here today, because I want to ask one of the pros, my local pros, how do we do this? So
okay.
That's kind of how I want to do it. And I'll let you tell, you do your thing, you talk it out. I'll be jotting things down as you're talking, so I know what follow-up questions to ask you, and I'll be checking the group questions too. All right, so hold on a second. Let me do this. I might even tell my group to come check us out on the business page instead. I think that actually might be a good idea. Hold on a second. No. I already told people that I was going to do it in the group and on my business page. Okay, so here we go. So I feel like, how can I do this? I think I can do it on my page and then also share it to the group. Okay, let's try this. So live on Facebook. Okay. All right. We'll say, hold on a second. Interview, the expert connection. The expert connection presents professional. Actually, it presents mindset, and what is it? Sales, mindset at sales coach. Actually, no, I'm going to say pro speaker, presents professional speaker, because that's how I want to intro you today.
Cool.
Professional speaker, Steve Hopper, right?
Yeah.
And then Steve Hopper, and then we'll say, learn how you can become a Live public.
Does that look weird with the microphone right there like that? Or
I can't hear you right now, or I can't see you right now. I'm doing this screen, so I'll tell you in a second. Sorry. Yeah, you're just going to have to deal with it. I'm just saying.
That's funny.
I'll tell you. I'll be honest with you as soon as I see it. As soon as I see it come up. Trish Lito. Here it is. Okay. So we're going to do this. And then we're going to, okay, go live. All right. Okay, webinar is now streaming live on Facebook. What's up, everybody?
Hey, everybody.
I know, yeah, I'm here live with Steve Hopper this afternoon. I'm really excited to do this. For those of you who are kind of new to me and you followed my page, you've liked my page, but you're not quite sure like what my deal is. My name is Trish Lito. I am a Facebook Live expert. I do have a free group called Making It Rain with the Hustlers. And I'm going to let Steve Hopper talk to you for just a second. He is an internationally known speaker, and I just had the honor and privilege of sharing a stage with him last Friday here in Tampa, Florida, in front of about 50 plus business owners. And it was a very powerful experience for me. And I've had a lot of my following ask me, Trish, how do you become a public speaker? How do you do this? So that's why I'm live with Steve today. Mr. Hopper, thank you so much for joining me. I appreciate it.
Hey, Trish, I'm excited to be here. But Trish, I got to ask you right off the bat, how did you come up with the Making It Rain for the Hustlers? How did you come up with all that?
So, for the longest time, there's people out there that, say, oh, you got to hustle and grind. It's like a big like term in the entrepreneurial world, the digital marketing world. And to me, hustle means, and you and I are on the same age. We went to high school together. Those people who don't know that, but to me, hustle's like, that's what I remember my little league coach saying to me when I'm running down the first baseline. It's get moving, Lito. Like, let's go, let's get started. So that's what hustle means for me. So that's why my group is Making It Rain for the Hustlers, because I'm trying to help business owners in all levels of online marketing get their hustle on and start making that thing happen. Get started.
Making it rain. I love it.
Yeah.
I love it. I love it. Cool.
So I'm gonna
listen. I am humbled. I am honored. I'm excited to be on your live today. I know you've got an awesome group of people that are following you, keeping up with all the cool stuff that you're doing. So I just want to say hey to everybody. I love you guys. God bless you. And I'm just excited to be here with you all today.
All right. So give me just a second. Thank you very much for saying that. Okay. And I'm going to say, come join us live with Steve Hopper. Okay. Here we go. On my biz page. Okay, so this is how silly I am. Okay, so I'm really excited to have you here today. I want to just let everybody know, those of you who are joining us for the first time, kind of how I do this. I titled the name of my show, I do interviews with industry experts all the time. I do this in my group, I do it on my personal page. And when the big shift happened that Mark Zuckerberg said, guess what, we're going to have to start doing these things a little bit more organically, I decided, I'm like, you know what, I deserve the business owners out there who are liking my page and liking Steve's page too, that we deserve to go live to these people. They deserve to know all this information. So that's why we're here live on my page, and you can start to look for me being live more on my business page and doing this expert connection thing and introducing you to some of the people who I recognize as an industry expert in their field. So Steve and I, we've known each other since high school.
Yeah, a long time ago.
A long time ago. I just had my 20-year high school reunion last year. Oh boy. Okay, let's shift gears here, right? Or 2 years ago. Oh my God. But so Steve and I have known each other for a long time, but just like you do with anybody from high school, you get disconnected for a little while. I went and joined the Navy. He did some other things, and he became an outstanding salesperson, an amazing mindset coach, and he's really helping a lot of business owners today doing this thing. And he's become an internationally known speaker. Like, this guy is on platforms and talking to thousands of people at a time. So we met because he invited me to do a speaking event with him. He was doing a video. So I'll let you kind of tell them why Friday happened and why you invited me.
Okay, cool. Yeah. So we had an amazing event on Friday, and I started doing seminars and workshops a couple years ago here just in the local community, because as I was out, I've always used offline networking and marketing as a way to grow my business. Most of my business still comes from word of mouth referrals, people calling me saying, hey, I got your name and number from this person. We're looking for a speaker for our next event, et cetera. So as I was out in the marketplace, networking my business, I saw a need. I saw a lot of entrepreneurs, a lot of small business owners, a lot of salespeople, a lot of network marketers, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, that were out trying to network and market their business. And they were struggling. They were struggling to generate referrals. They were struggling to get the sales needed. And as I sat down and started to do coffee and lunches with people I was meeting at these events, I was asking them, what are you struggling with right now? And they would tell me. So, I started to put together it started out very small, just putting together some local seminars and workshops. I would find a nice venue, and I would, come up with a topic. And it was usually a topic that people in the market were wanting to learn more about or know more about. And I would set up these half-day seminars or these full-day seminars and, just start inviting people to come and bring them in and just teach them some cool stuff that would help them take their business to the next level. Well, those seminars and workshops have obviously progressed, and now they're happening, every 6 to 8 weeks. They're drawing in a great crowd, and people are just walking out of there going, man, this event was absolutely awesome. It was amazing. I learned so much. It's changing my business, all this kind of stuff. So going into 2018, we'll go back to 2017, right? Which is already February. Oh my gosh, can you believe that? But end of last year, we were really, me and the team sat down and we started laying out some of the seminars and workshops that we're going to do for this year. And video was a huge topic because, as we look at the marketing trends, video started exploding obviously last year in a big, big way. And we know that it's the way this year. Video is where it's at. It's the best way to drive, to get your content, to get your message out there, all that kind of stuff. But as I go through my Facebook feed, I see a lot of videos, but I noticed that a lot of them were not coming from people that I network with, people that are coming to workshops. And I'm going, why aren't these people shooting videos more frequently? So we decided to put a marketing seminar on the calendar, which we did this past Friday. Now, Trish had the opportunity to speak at that event because Trish was one of my friends on Facebook that was out there on a consistent basis. She was shooting live videos almost daily, providing great content, interviewing people. And I knew that she was utilizing live video to obviously grow her business, to build her vision, her long-term dreams, all the things she wants to accomplish. And she does just a phenomenal job at it. So I reached out to her, and I remember sending you a Facebook message and said, hey, we're planning on putting together a video marketing event, a live event. Would you be interested in speaking at that event? And obviously she was super excited about that opportunity. So we started planning it out. And guys, let me tell you something. She came in on Friday. It was an all-day seminar. She had 2 sessions during the day, one in the morning and one in the afternoon. And she got up there and she just absolutely crushed it. Matter of fact, there was one time where she started talking about affiliates and different things like that. I'm standing at the back of the room going, no.
Too much.
You're giving them too much. You're giving them too much. You're gonna make their heads explode. But yeah, definitely an amazing event. And Trish, I want to let you know that Eric, who is my videographer, he came over last night and brought the videos. We videoed the entire event, guys. Everybody's segments were on video. So we're going to be piecing that together, putting it all together, and then we're going to get that out to you guys so that you all have access, no matter where you're at in the country, no matter where you're at in the world. You guys are going to be able to see exactly what we did last Friday. It was a very powerful event.
It's a nice, fun little foreshadowing, like what's to come, because what's to come. So I'm really excited about that. So okay, so this is what happened. I did this live event. A lot of people have been following my journey, right? They know that I did a lot of multi-level marketing stuff, network marketing stuff. And then I kind of like, I fired myself from that. And I said, wait a second. For me personally, I said, I don't want to do this anymore. I want to do the piece where I'm helping other people use these platforms to effectively get leads for free, effectively market themselves and connect, right? That was our big message on Friday was, I'm not selling, I'm connecting, right? I'm connecting with people. I'm just teaching them how to do these things. And so I get done with Friday, and I've got, I show these people pictures, and it's the same regular people, my big following. I've got over 2,000 people in my group, and they're reaching out to me, and they're going, okay, Trish, how does he do this? Like, how did he become a paid speaker? We want to talk to this guy. So that's why you're here today. So Steve, tell us a little bit about how somebody like myself, right? How does somebody like myself get out there more? Like, how do I do the thing? Walk me through the process.
Wow. That's a big question, right? Like, how do you do it? So many people reach out to me on a consistent basis and they say, I want to speak, how do I do it?
Yep.
And guys, well, first of all, I had a young lady, I spoke at an event on Saturday morning, David Sharp's Legendary Marketer event, and a few people went live at the event. I actually had a young lady named Desiree reach out to me from Las Vegas, and she had a very similar question. She's working full-time at a call center right now in Las Vegas. She's the top salesperson, but she knows in her heart that she has a desire to go out and speak, to inspire, to motivate, all that good stuff. And, one of the things that I told her is, listen, you got to start telling people what you desire to do, because what you ask for is what you get. In other words, if I go out into the marketplace and I'm looking to connect with a specific person, if I ask to connect with that specific person, then that's what I'm going to get. If I go out into the market and I start to let everybody know that I have a desire to speak and I want to speak more and I'm looking for speaking opportunities, then that's what I'm going to get. So one of the first things that I would tell people to do if they have a desire to break into the speaking industry, first of all, you want to do some research. I went out, I think we talked about this last time you and I got together. The first year, the way it happened for me was I was doing a lot of speaking in corporate America, sales training, all of that kind of stuff. When I left corporate America in 2008, started my own marketing company. I was out doing speaking in the community, but it was all based off of, my marketing company. I was speaking about that. And it wasn't until I sat down with a gentleman one day who owned a magazine. And he wanted to feature my story in his magazine. So I shared my story with them. They put it in the magazine. When the magazine hit the shelves, my phone, my email, everything exploded. People want me to come speak here, there, all over the place. And I was just so excited to go out and speak and, share my story and inspire and motivate people. I was speaking 5 times a week. Every time somebody contacted me and said, can you come and speak? I'm going, yes. I mean, I was speaking at leadership conventions, companies, churches, youth groups, middle schools, high schools, you name it. And I wasn't charging anything.
Let me just tell you, for people who don't know, right? It is an exhausting thing to do. I was literally so drained at the end of the day Friday, and I only spoke for 2 hours, right? I can only imagine doing this like 5 days a week, day after day after day, and not getting paid for it and be that emotionally and physically drained. I know that you had to have been exhausted. So I give a lot of accolades for that.
It's exciting and very exhausting at the same time, and one of the reasons is, it even for me, as a seasoned, professional speaker giving, hundreds, probably thousands of presentations at this point, you get that adrenaline rush, right before you go out. And I think that's what exhausts you, because when you're there and when you're speaking, you do have that excitement, that adrenaline that's flowing through your body. And then when that event is over, when you're done speaking, you crash,
Yeah.
So one of the most tiring events I had one time was I spoke at a company, and the company was so large, they wanted to split me up into 3 segments. So I literally had to, they broke the company up into 3 parts. And I had to speak 3 different times to 3 different groups. And man, you want to talk about exhausted. But anyways, yeah, I was out for a whole year, guys, and I was speaking for free. And, you know, my wife comes into it. My wife comes to me one day and she goes, honey, I love this. I love that you're out inspiring people, motivating people. But are you ever going to get paid to do this? Because you're investing a lot of time in this.
Yeah, no kidding.
You know, and I said, yeah, I need to figure that out, you know. And I approached a couple mentors that, you know, a couple possible mentors, and approached them about mentoring me in speaking. And, you know, these guys wanted a ton of money. They wanted to charge me a lot of money to mentor me. And at the time, I just wasn't prepared to dish out that kind of money. And I said, well, you know what? I guess I'm just going to have to figure this out. So I began to study the speaking industry, and I began to watch videos, and I began to look at the top guys out there. I began to watch how they were, excuse me, getting over a cold right now, but I began to watch how they were branding themselves and how they were marketing themselves and all that kind of stuff. And then I was like, all right, so what do I charge to go out and speak? And there was nobody would give you the answer. Like, there was no answer, Trish. Like, that nobody said, oh, charge 500. Nobody said charge 2,000. Nobody said charge 5. There was like, you couldn't find the answer to this question anywhere. How much should I charge to go out and speak? And then I was listening to Benji Bruce one day. Benji Bruce is absolutely amazing. And he was talking about going out and speaking. And he was saying something about, you know, when I first started speaking, you know, I was trying to figure out what to charge, and I couldn't get an answer. So I just threw out a number. And he said, and then they accepted the number. He goes, so the next time somebody approached me about speaking, I threw out a number that was a little bit higher than that one, and they accepted it. And he said, I just kept progressing to get to that number that I was at. And so I kind of took the same approach. So I just started throwing numbers out there, and honestly, people started biting on them. And I realized very quickly that I was really kind of underpricing myself. So I began to raise my fees, and obviously, the more speaking opportunities, the more speaking you get under your belt, the more content you're able to put out in the marketplace, the more following you start to receive, you know, your value goes up and up and up as a speaker, and you'll raise your fees until you get to that place. But, you know, still to this day, it doesn't matter what your fee is. Whoever it is you're talking to, in most cases, they're going to want to negotiate with you anyways. They're going to want to negotiate that fee with you. So, each individual situation. But I guess to go back and really kind of simplify this, to get back to that initial question, because it was a very open, broad question, you know, how does one get started in this? Mm-hmm. You know, I would say that you just start telling people that you have a desire to speak.
Okay.
You know, one of the things you need to figure out is, what are you going to go out and talk about? You know, what are you passionate about? You know, for me, you know, I talk about a lot of different stuff. I can go out and talk about, you know, networking. I can go out and talk about sales. I can go out and talk about marketing. I can go out and talk about my faith. I can go out and talk about all sorts of stuff. But what I did was I realized that everything I was talking about had that element of performance in it. Mm-hmm. So, you know, just inspiring people and pushing people to go to that extra level in their business and in their life, which is really the foundation of everything I talk about. So once you figure out what your purpose is and what your vision is and what message you want to get to the masses, you're going to be able to create presentations around that. So for me, you know, it's high performance. You know, it's high performance in business and in life. And I can go in and talk on sales, networking, all that kind of. Am I boring you? Because you're looking a little tired right now. Are you wore out?
No, I actually. It's funny that you say that. It's funny.
You almost yawned on me just then, Trish.
No, listen. It is 4:25 on a Wednesday afternoon, and yesterday was my little boy's 2-year birthday. So you know how it is. You got 4 kids. I got 2. I feel like I've got an army, and I have a 3.5-year-old daughter and a 2-year-old son. And I feel like I'm raising an army right now.
Listen, two is easy. Two kids is easy. I don't even know what you're talking about. 4 is like a circus.
No, to be honest with you though, I gotta be honest with you, Steve. I as you were talking, I was thinking to myself, because I want to share this with people. This is you have been an incredible influence on me at this point in our lives already. Like, I feel like every time we get on the phone, we're chatting, I'm giving you video advice and telling you how to rock your Facebook lives. And then your mentor, I feel like we're just mentoring each other back and forth. But right. Some things that I want to highlight about you that I love about you is that, first of all, oh my God, you are a phenomenal motivational speaker, like phenomenal. And
thank you.
I'm so honored that you were the one. Like, I feel like everything happens for a reason. You are a very Christian guy. I consider myself to be a spiritual woman. I don't go to church every Sunday, but I'm not a bad person. It's just because my husband went to private school and he just doesn't want to go to church now. So I can't say that I blame him, but I do believe that things happen for a reason. I do believe that there's a higher being, definitely, that got us connected at this point in our lives.
It's funny, Trish, I want to stop you right there because you say, you're a very Christian guy. And the reality is yes, I'm a Christian, but you know what? Listen, I'm a sinner just like everybody else, right? I'm constantly making mistakes. I'm constantly asking for forgiveness. So I just want to get that out in the open right now.
Right on, brother. Right on. No, I hear you.
I'm totally just like everybody else watching this right now, just trying to be as good as I can and get to the next level and, impact some people along the way.
Well, I'm telling you this because it was such an honor and privilege to be able to speak at one of your events and for me to come up after you just got done pumping everybody up, getting that mindset right. Like, this guy, ladies and gentlemen, is such an outstanding motivational speaker. And I'll tell you right now, I already told him many times, like, you guys are going to be seeing more of our faces together this year because we're definitely going to be collaborating and working together. Yeah. But something that I've learned from you, and so you've got this thing, a product out there, your CDs, called the Colors of Influence. Uh-huh. And I know that has to do with the colors mean like your type of personality that you have, right?
Right.
So I would love for you to just speak at that just a little bit, if you wouldn't mind, because I'm learning a little bit more about myself the more you and I work together, and we're kind of mentoring each other. And I feel like I'm trying to tap into and understand what my color is exactly. So tell people a little bit about the Colors of Influence and what that is.
Well, you're definitely a blue. And, so, you need to go listen to those audios.
Audios. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So that you can figure out what you are. But anyways, you're definitely a blue, and you got some red, a little bit of red too. So you may be on the purple side. Okay. But anyways, guys, listen, when I was in prison, and, we're not getting into that whole story here today. That's not the purpose of this live. But, when I was in prison, I started doing a lot of personal development because I knew I wanted to go do something with my life when I got out of prison. And, so I just really dug into a lot of books. I did a lot of studying. And one of the things that I came across and I studied when I was in prison was personality styles. I'd gone into survival mode while I was in there because I wanted to survive that place. And so I began to watch and study everybody around me, how people interacted with each other. And I began to study people in a big way, and I learned a lot about people in that process. I actually used the stuff that I learned to really excel in sales when I got out of prison, and management, and in my businesses, and all of that kind of stuff. But one of the things I studied when I was in prison was the personality styles, the 4 basic personality styles of all people. We're all made up of 4 basic personality styles, but in each one of us, there's one style that is dominant. It doesn't matter who you are. You have a dominant personality style. It's what, causes us to act the way we act and make the decisions that we make and all that kind of stuff. So I began to study that. And the one that I studied was actually the colors, red, blue, yellow, green. So I began to apply that in prison. As I was interacting with people, began to decipher what personality styles the different guys were in prison. And I knew how to interact with those guys based on their personality style. Well, I took that and I brought it into the corporate world when I got out of prison. And it was one of the reasons I was such a great salesperson, because when I met somebody and I shook their hand, immediately I knew what their dominant personality style was. So I knew how to interact with those people. Here's the problem, is there are a lot of personality trainings out there, A lot of companies will bring in, there's the DISC program, DISC, which is one of the biggies out there. Some speakers do some of the other ones, like there's elements, earth, wind, fire. There's gyms. I think Danny Johnson does the gyms, ruby, diamond, emerald,
Yeah.
So, there's even animals.
Oh, the animals one. There's the animals one.
Yeah, there's an animal one.
Tiger or peacock. Yeah.
So there's a lot. There's a lot of these types of trainings out there. And what I found was that people would go through these trainings, and it would just be like a cute little fun thing. Okay. But they weren't really using it to interact with people. They weren't using it to influence people. They weren't using it to close people. They weren't using it to progress their business. So I realized that people needed to learn this, and they needed to learn it in a big, big way, because it would change everything. My wife, this past year, she's a financial advisor. She closed $1 million client, and she called me and she said, Steve, I just got to give you credit where credit is due. I closed this big client today, and one of the reasons I did is because of your colors. Because the moment I walked into this appointment, I knew he was a red personality style. I could just tell. And I was able to present to him in a way that was attractive to him. And ultimately, I was able to close the deal. You see, many people, they listen to these and they say, oh, yeah, I'm a blue, or I'm a red, or I'm a yellow, or I'm a green. And it's cute and funny, but it's not about you.
Correct.
It's about the people that you're in front of.
Yep.
And, when you get good at this, when you really wrap your brain around this, and you can go out into the marketplace and you can shake hands with people, and immediately within a few seconds, you can pinpoint what their dominant personality style is, then you know how to adjust yourself, your presentation, to be attractive to that individual. Mm-hmm. And this is crazy, because once you learn this, you can go to somebody's Facebook page, and based off of what they're posting on Facebook, you can tell what their dominant personality style is. Mm-hmm. So you know exactly how to approach that individual. So I think a lot of people are missing the boat out there right now by not knowing and understanding this. I meet with CEOs frequently, that are, discussing with me coming in and possibly speaking to their companies or their organizations or whatever. And this has been foolproof for me, because I can sit down with a CEO, and with just in a few moments, I know exactly what personality style they are. So I know how to present Steve Hopper International to that CEO to get the job. Mm-hmm. And I guarantee you that if I sit down, in an interview, and I'm in competition. See, you're about to yawn again.
No, I'm not.
If I'm in competition with another speaker, I feel like I've got a leg up, because I know how to present myself to those people to win that speaking opportunity. So yeah, the colors of influence is extremely, extremely powerful. And I put it on an audio because I wanted people to be able to listen to it over and over and over again, because the first time they hear it, you do it at a live event, they hear it, they retain a little bit, but it just goes back to high school. We're sitting in high school, we had a test on Friday. What did we do? We studied over and over and over again.
Correct.
Until it just became part of us, and it became second nature. And that's the same thing that we need to do with this type of stuff. Study it over and over again until, we are literally walking out in the market. And, Lauren and I, we go out to restaurants now, and, we just play this fun little game. Our waitress will come up and, what personality style is she, and we'll pinpoint personality style. Somebody will walk by us in the restaurant. I'll say, that guy's a red, or that guy's a blue, or she's a yellow. I can tell by her jewelry, and so we go back and forth, and we have a lot of fun with it, but it's a very, very powerful thing.
There's something that you said while you were explaining that you and I talk about this all the time. People hear me talk about it on lives all the time, that, and why we did video, right? Why we did the whole thing on Friday is that it's not about you as the person. It's about the people that are receiving your information, or the other person, right? So while, again, I might be a purple or I might be a blue, I need to make sure that I'm always tuned into the fact that there's going to be reds and yellows and blues and greens out there that I'm talking to. So I have to make sure that I'm conveying my message in a way that I'm reaching all of those people and they're receiving my message appropriately.
Yeah.
And that's why I tell so many people that they need to be using more video and doing Facebook Lives, because some people might jump in and then jump back out. If it doesn't apply to them or whatever, they'll pop in, be like, hey, Trish, what's up? And then jump back out. But I know my audience. I know that I'm going to get over 100 views within about an hour, no matter what, because I know how to convey my message. You were going to say.
Yeah, what I was going to say is, it's crucial. I had a client. I'll tell you a quick story. I had a client. This was 2 years ago. I'll never forget it. He was in the network marketing industry. He was making about 10 grand a month, so he was doing pretty good, right? And he had a big fish on the line that was down at Fort Myers, which is about a 2-hour drive from here. And he drove all the way down to Fort Myers to meet with this guy to pitch him on the opportunity. And he went through the textbook company flip chart presentation, given all the details, all that kind of stuff. And about halfway through the presentation, the guy that he was presenting to put his hands over his ears and he said, "Oh my God, this is horrible. I'm out." And he calls me on the way home and he's like, "Steve, what happened?" And I said, "He was a red personality style and you tried to give him a green presentation. And you're going to lose every single time in that scenario." And the reality was that, you have got to, again, it's not about you. I can't tell you how many times I've sat down with people in the direct sales industry and they try to give me the textbook, company overview presentation. And it's one of the reasons that they're struggling in direct sales right now. And they're not recruiting more people or signing more people up because they're not giving it to the people the way that people want it given to them or need it given to them. So it's crucial. I mean, it's really crucial information, especially in sales and all of that kind of stuff, to be able to present to each individual that you're in front of in a different way.
Absolutely.
And now to get real advanced with it, once you really wrap your brain around it, when you're speaking to large groups of people, now you're creating a presentation that has something in it for all four. Right? There you go.
That's important. That's really important. Yeah. So, and that was something that I think that, it was my first thing. It was my first live speaking event, but something that I struggle with, and I know a lot of other people are like this because I've talked to so many people about this, is I struggle with wanting to over deliver, right? It's hard for me because I feel like I just want everybody to know the thing, but right. I have to, and like something that you told me is you got to really reel it in, because for some people it's super, super beginner level. And that's what you were saying about talking about affiliate marketing. I'm like, I just want everybody to make money. So when I started talking about affiliate marketing last Friday, and you're like, whoa, that's too much. I was like, okay, another time, talk to me later or whatever. But it's a hard thing for me to do is to, bring it down to like that level. And I'm still learning how to do that.
Yeah. One thing that's crucial about being a speaker, is really just knowing your audience and knowing what you need to give to your audience. What does your audience need? And sometimes if you give your audience too much, more than what they need, then they walk out of there not feeling good, not feeling excited, not feeling like they have new drive and new vision, but they walk out of there feeling overwhelmed and defeated. So it's always important that you make sure when you're doing your presentations that you're giving the audience what they need, and then also, you're leaving them wanting more. Right. Like when we do when I do my mastermind events, we give them exactly what they need to get to that next level in business, right? Mm-hmm. Obviously it takes years to build businesses. And when you do a 3-day mastermind, you're not going to be able to teach somebody literally in 3 days everything they need to know about business. So you get it to the point where you're giving them everything they need in that mastermind to go to the next level. Once they're getting to that next level, then you're able to progress them along. But if you try to give it to them all at once, nobody gets it. They walk
No.
in there feeling overwhelmed, you know?
Well, and the thing is too, and you know, I notice this because I'm a course creator, I'm a trainer too, is people, they learn something, and some people learn at a different pace than others. So for some people, they're
Right.
going to learn a thing and then implement it. They need to implement it for a week or 2 weeks or even a month before they're like, okay, I'm ready to move on to the next thing. Whereas other people are like, dude, I can learn 10 things at one time, implement all of it at one time, and then, okay, give me more, give me more, give me more. So, and I
Right.
think that's a really important point.
Well,
So,
I think the problem with a lot of people, Trish, is that they're not actually implementing the stuff that they're learning.
oh no,
I
I
can't,
would say it's like 80% of the people that buy the thing, right?
I can't tell you how many people are in like 25 different courses right now. It's like, are you kidding me? Like,
Yeah.
why don't you just do that course and learn that course and then move on to another course?
Well, and I think that's why accountability groups for courses is it's so important. Like
Right.
I've got a membership in a course, and I'm making these people accountable every single day. Because if they're not, I mean, I'm doing monetize with Facebook Lives, for crying out loud. If
Right.
they're not doing the lives, there's no way they're going to monetize with them.
That's right.
You
That's
know,
right.
so I'm making sure that, hey, are you doing it? You know, practice here in the group, practice here where I can teach you and coach you, and then go do it publicly, and then go tell, you know, give people the thing. But you're right, people got to implement that stuff, 100%.
So let me ask you this, Trish. Is anybody that's watching, are they asking any questions or anything? Do we have anything we can address for people? Because
Yeah.
I know we're all over the place right now. We could you know, we've talked about speaking, we're talking about sales, we're talking about personalities, events, like video, like we're all over the place right now. So is there any questions that anybody has for us or anything?
Yeah, feel free to ask some questions, y'all. So we've talked, again, he just mentioned, we talked about sales, personality, how to become a speaker. You know, Steve and I are here local in Tampa, Florida. We live literally 20 minutes from each other. And I'm sure that there are plenty of other speakers in this area that I don't even know of, but do they really matter, Steve? I mean, do they really matter? As long as I'm connected with Steve Hopper, do any other speakers really matter?
Yes, they do. They're all great. I love to work with other speakers. I'm telling you, you know, that's another crucial factor. You know, you want to speak, you know, connect with some speakers. I mean, we're not in competition with each other,
Right.
because my story is completely different than another speaker's story.
Right.
I'm gonna portray a message in a completely different way than other speakers are going to portray their message. I love to work with other speakers. I love to partner with other speakers. And it's one of the reasons that I bring people in to speak at my events, you know, and so, you know, so if you're watching this right now and you are a speaker, I'd love to connect with you. I'd love to come speak at your event. I'd love to possibly bring you to speak at one of mine, you know, so there is no competition as far as I'm concerned. I believe that we all bring something different and unique to the table, and we can all help each other go to the next level for sure.
And we don't really have anybody asking questions right now, but I do want to point this out. If you're somebody if you're an expert in anything really, then you can speak about it. Whether it's a Facebook Live or at a live event with Steve Hopper, right? If you're an expert in something, there's nothing stopping you. There's no rules to this, right, Steve? I mean, is that pretty safe to say? Yeah. Yeah, there's no rules. So if you're an expert at something, whether you've been doing it for 2 years or 20 years, if you want to get up and talk to somebody about it or talk to a group of people about it, reach out to Steve. Steve, I'm sure you've got at least, 10 speakers in your Rolodex? I just said Rolodex. You've got 10 speakers in your Rolodex at least that you can connect people with, right?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. Oh, yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
All right.
You know, and I would tell you guys too, you know, if you do have a desire to speak and you want to speak, go start speaking in your local community. I mean, start out small. I mean, that's what I did. You know, I connected with, you know, one of the first organizations I connected with was Fellowship of Christian Athletes. And, you know, they brought me in one day to speak to a high school. And I went in there and I crushed it and I did my thing. And now they utilize me on a consistent and regular basis. They've taken me into high schools and middle schools all over the place to speak. You know, I've spoken at Rotary clubs. You know, I mean, there are CEOs of companies that are part of Rotary, you know, and Rotary is always looking for people to come in and speak and provide some value to its members, chambers of commerce, networking venues, all of those places in your local community will allow you to come in and speak.
Okay.
You just have to put the fillers out there and start asking people, start looking for opportunities to speak, and some of them are not going to be paid, but that's okay because there's somebody in the audience. And if they like what you're putting down, then they're going to pay you to come speak for them. So that's
That's
how I've done
awesome. That's good to know. That's really good to know. That's a good nugget right there.
it. Right.
That's awesome. All right. If anybody has any questions whatsoever, please feel free to ask questions after the live is over. We'll be happy to reach out to you and answer your questions. Steve, I know that I've actually got to get going in just a minute here because we have to go pick up the kids from daycare. Thank you very much for popping on this afternoon with us. And again, like I said, I told people already, but I'm going to say it again. I mean, we're going to be doing some more events here in the Tampa area, so keep your eyes out. When is your next event?
Well, the $100,000 Handshake 2-day intensive, which is probably one of the most powerful events. It is the most powerful event that we do. I mean, it's life-changing. It's on February 23rd, 24th here in Tampa. They can find out more about that at 100khandshake.com. And then we have a Facebook Like a Boss coming up in April. And that's going to be the first week of April, and we'll be putting that out pretty soon.
Very nice.
So that's going to be exciting. And then, of course, we talked a little bit about the colors of influence. So if everybody wants to go check that out, they can go to my website, stevehopperinternational.com. And, under the product section is the colors of influence. So they can go and check that out, take a look at it, see if that's something they're interested in taking advantage of. It's a game changer for sure. No doubt.
That's awesome. That is super awesome.
Yeah.
All right, cool. Well, Mr. Hopper, thank you very much for joining me. I really appreciate you. If y'all want to get more of Steve, go check him at stevehopperinternational.com. And his Instagram handle is at stevehopperspeaks.
Yep.
And like I said, you're going to be seeing some more of him and more he and I together. So I look forward to doing some really fun things in 2018, and I will talk to you very soon, sir.
Absolutely. God bless you. Thanks for having me.
Right back.
Bye, everybody. It's great to see you. Okay.
Peace
Bye-bye.
out.